Let me tell you something. I have been in not many awkward situations in my life, but when you're lying on a bed, you feel so vulnerable. This guy sits at the bottom of the bed, folds his legs, and he's like, listen, Ross.
Welcome back. Here's the Crack podcast number
30.
Wow.
Ooh,
nice. So clean. We're back again, and I'm here with another question.
Oh wow, I feel like this is the way we should start the podcast now.
This is going to be a weekly thing because
Thomas brings a thought-provoking question.
Question time.
Users who are listening to this may experience some audio issues because I'm about to fix this mic.
So basically, I was thinking today, Ross has got himself a new car, and Shea's had his car quite a long time, and I've had my car a few years.
A few years? I thought you've had that.
Maybe 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years.
I remember whenever you got that car.
I think it would be,
well,
it's 4 years now, I think. But so basically, I just feel like, do you go through stages? My question is, do you feel like you go through stages of having a car? So like, you've obviously got your car brand new, and like you're proper like, oh my god, Ross had a shit fit because there was like one scratch on his alloy and he had to go and fix it as soon as he got home.
Right, so no,
because he smashed a curb.
No, right. I tell you what it was though. This is the most annoying thing about that was, you know the way when you're pulling up to something and you like hit your alloy, or you kind of hit the curb, and you kind of know you've done it, and you're a bit like, oh right, but you can kind of forgive yourself because it genuinely was a kind of mistake. Well, this time was a wee bit different and I was really annoyed about it because I pulled into the space and then thought I could get closer to this curb to avoid anybody hitting my wing mirror in the narrow street. So in an attempt to do that, it's kind of like one of them ram dash situations where I looked in the mirror and I realised I could get a wee bit closer, and as I was pulling closer, I just felt the front alloy, and I thought, you dick. Yeah. Like you know you'd done it. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't say it was an accident. It was just you being ram dash. I think that's what annoyed me the most. Yeah. And then you summed up perfectly. Black alloys, when you hit them, is like you may as well just put a sign to the alloy and be like.
See, I've just like the standard alloys that came with the car. They're not that nice. So if I hit a curb, I don't really care anymore. No? But my point basically was like, if you like hit a curb or something, you probably would be proper annoyed. Whereas like, I don't think you would be annoyed if you hit a curb. Like we were sort of joking, like. Ross was parking in front of Shea, or was it the other way around?
No, we went. It was the video where we went to get the oh my word! I just like was trying to speak before my brain like caught up with my mouth. We were going to get the monsters, and then on the way we were at the Spar on the Malone Road, and then whenever we come back and parked in the street, I like zoomed like into the space, and you were just like, I was like, haha, my like front sensors went off, and I was like, beep, beep, and you were just like, hit it. I actually wouldn't care. And I was like, okay.
I genuinely don't think you would have cared though.
I actually wouldn't. There's so many things and nicks on it. Like it's another one wouldn't really matter.
As one, you've got the stage. Like, where do you think the stage was where you were just like, oh, I just don't really care about this car anymore?
I don't know. I always think, like, obviously in high school, like whenever I had it like modified and all with the wheels and the bags and all that. Like, yeah. Obviously took a bit of care of it, but I think once I got out of high school I didn't really give a shit.
Were you like a proper car guy in school?
Shea had his car bagged. He used to just drop it.
I used to come in the mornings in school and I'd actually come a bit earlier so I could get the space that was on top of the steps.
Oh my god.
So like it was the first car you see once you got to the top of the steps, and then just slammed it. Like. Also, if you noticed, my hat was always there.
Did you pull up in the driveway playing the Tokyo Drift music?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so funny. That's something you would do. I never even noticed that before.
And then
but
obviously like slammed it.
You used to have like BBS alloys and all.
Yeah, I had BBS ones and then a set of Cas 13s on it.
Proper agri spec.
It wasn't agri spec. I hate agri spec cars.
But you're
controversial.
No, I wouldn't have said that. Agri spec is like, what do you call it?
It was Euro spec.
It was one of, you know, like them cars. It's like
a Bora.
Golf Spores and like, you know, the ones, what do you call them? Seat Toledos, is it?
Toledo, yeah.
Toledos, like they're agri spec cars. Like.
And the CB radios, the big massive like
12-foot high.
Like wobbly ones.
My car, like I used to have a Peugeot 308 with white alloys. Like.
Nice.
So like, it was
white walls.
They're just like white alloys. That's literally the reason I bought it. I was like, these are sick. This is different. But like, yeah. So basically, like, I feel like I'm on a stage now. If I like hit my car, I would be annoyed, but I wouldn't like I don't really care like you're inside your car's gleaming.
Yeah,
Whereas
but
I'm at the stage now where I would just like finish a drink and throw it on the ground.
see, I've always been like that. Even like, you remember my last car, and like I would say, like, if someone hit it, I would probably be annoyed, but I wouldn't be as annoyed if someone hit the one I have now. But like, I've always been like that, like, because I'm in my car a lot of the time, and like, it's the same thing as my room. Like, if it's my space, I like to keep it tidy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't just chuck things everywhere.
I think I need a van though.
Van man.
Why?
Because, well, the other day I was doing a bit of work to the gym.
Bit of DIY.
And I had to get a big beam,
Bob
big
the
wooden
Builder.
beam in, so threw it in the back of the car and put it right up. Like, obviously it was just slightly too long. It was just overhanging the boot just like by 2 inches or something. And I closed the boot down on it, and the plank bounced up and hit the windscreen, smashed the windscreen. So
Oh no.
Cracked
that
the
was a shit
windscreen.
show. Yeah, cracked it. So I have to get a new windscreen now.
Can I ask
And-
you a question? See, whenever the windshield cracked,
Yeah.
what was the first thing that went through your mind?
Oh, fuck it.
I think the first thing that would go through my mind is,
I think
oh
you
crap,
would
but then I
actually
would
cry, yeah.
like, I
You
think
would
that,
actually have a shit
like,
fit,
as soon as I rocked up the other day and seen your cracked windshield, immediately I just saw the auto glass repair, auto glass replace. It's like so funny that branding is like the first thing that goes through your head.
Marketing, I know.
Marketing.
Then I had the scaffolding too in it today, and the rust on it.
Oh no,
My seats are covered in rust.
So
Like, if anyone had to see me driving, the scaffolding was hanging out the back of my car. Like, it's a Jetta, so it is a pretty long car, but like the
Yeah.
scaffolding poles are hanging out the back of it, and the rust is just covered in the seats now. Or the seats are covered in rust now.
see, I had my. Do you remember my red car?
red car.
I had a red Corsa.
You went from like a red
Yeah,
Corsa
to
like
a grey
Corsa.
worst
I don't
decision
remember
I've ever
that.
made in my life. Right.
You're like-
So I had a red Corsa as my first car,
I don't remember you having that.
and
It's especially an odd change for you being colourblind. Like,
Yeah.
just change colour. Like, do you think that
well,
would
I
be
went
one
up
thing
in
that would bother
years.
you?
I went up in years, so I think like that
Yeah.
was kind of like the sort of point where I there was basically I had the red car, and then I parked it outside of I think it was Lucinda's house, and someone had like reversed into the side of it and drove off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I came out that night and seen the dinge, and like was kind of like, that's annoying. But I drove home and like slept the full night, and then woke up the next morning and was like, I suppose I should probably go out and see what this is like in the daylight to see how bad it is. Went out, it was bad, like it was proper like caved in, and like took it and got it repaired. Cost me like 250 quid like to get it de-dented and like resprayed and
Seriously?
stuff. Yeah.
Did you not like go and look and see if you could get CCTV?
No, like there's no one who had CCTV, so I was kind of like, right, I'm gonna take that one on the chin and just sort of, move on. Then after a wee while, it was someone would get in my car and was like, I smell damp, and I was like, what do you mean you smell damp? And they were like, well, it smells like fusty, and I was like,
Fusty. What does that mean? Where do you come up with these words?
Fusty, it must
Oh
be a
my
Ballymena
God.
thing.
There should
Someone
actually be like a Ross dictionary, like, because
Someone-
just talk some absolute shite words.
For anybody listening, if you know the word fusty, let's prove
Actually
to
gonna
these
be
two geezers
on
that I am
Instagram
not
clip or something.
Yeah.
Put this in the story. Is anyone ever
fusty.
That's
Show the people.
100% that word, like.
So yeah, basically, someone get in the car and said it smells fusty, and my first reaction was, have I maybe I farted or something, like that's what they're smelling. But then after a wee while I started to get in and was like, you know what, like I actually do smell something weird. And then when I put my hand below, like, the way you have the rubber mat, and then you have the carpet,
Yeah.
but then you can kind of put your hand below the carpet. I put my hand below the carpet and like patted it and just heard this like wet, and was like, oh my word, there's like water below this mat. So I took it to get it like looked at, and someone was like, I think I took it up to like a Vauxhall, I'm not going to say the place, but like it was a Vauxhall place, and they were basically like, listen,
No free
in order to identify where this, as they said, compromise is,
Yeah.
we need to basically strip the whole car, and like it could
Wow,
cost like
okay.
£1,500. And I was like,
Man,
listen,
that's ridiculous.
the car ain't worth £1,500. But then that alerted me to an issue, which then as I looked around the car, I realized like on the Vauxhalls, all like the stuff is like GM
Yeah.
branding. So like the windows are GM, like General Motors.
Yeah.
And whenever I looked at the windshield, One thing I noticed was, and this sounds very weird coming from a colorblind, the bonnet was like discolored, was starting to like fade.
Right.
And I like polished it and brought it back up again. But whenever I went to take it to get the door fixed, I said to the guy, "What is the crack with this fading?" And he was like, "Well, it's normally a sign that the car's been like either left out in the sunlight, or if it's happening a lot, it's been resprayed." And I was like, "What?" So as I started to like notice, the windshield was a different brand.
Oh.
So I thought, has this car been in an accident?
Plot twist.
It was an absolute scandal. And for like a few weeks, I was kind of like, right, then it just completely put me off the car, because I was like, how many other issues is this going to cause? So I took it, and they basically like were like, yeah, we can give you X amount for this car, and like you could upgrade to something like this for X. And I think it was just like a split decision where I was just like, yeah, that's grand, I'll upgrade. And it was like maybe like if you like not even $4,000 like to upgrade the car. And I said, right, okay, that'll do. So I drove that other car for like 2 years, and then eventually I was like, you know what I don't like as a 20-year-old? Courses.
I feel like that was such a long road to get
Yeah.
to how you got a new car.
But I am.
I was like, where's he
But
going?
like I am like, you know, we're using that in the back of my car, my old car.
Yeah.
It was tight.
Like it was tight.
I think that's what I learned from my first car, was a 3-door, like a Peugeot 308. I was like, never again am I going 3-door now.
Yeah.
I don't, not a fan.
But then when you're young, you always think going 5 doors so not
it's
nice.
just because they're cheaper. Like, it's nothing to do with like they're nicer. Now.
I went 5-door.
Well, you're fucking class, aren't you?
Legendary.
I think you
Didn't
should
know.
tell the fucking story of your car getting racked up the side, because that's such a good wee detective story.
Oh, my
This is such a good,
Inspector
this is actually a
Cluedo.
good story. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Inspector
Proper
Shea.
get
So I was like working in the bookies one day, and I think it was like 5 o'clock. I just came back from a dinner, or I went out to the house or something, and came back in, and then finished work at like 9 o'clock that night. So came out to the car at like 9 o'clock, and the whole side of the car was just absolutely destroyed. Like,
What, that car you have in a minute?
yeah. So like, what the fuck? Like a lorry or something's obviously came past and wrecked it. So I was like looking about the road, and there was like lights lying off a lorry. So like sort of like brushed them up or whatever, kept them, and then called the cops. Cops came out, and they were like looking around it, and then they sort of like stopped for a second, and then they looked around, and they're like, there's no CCTV about here, like. And I was like, right. And then they were like, not much we can do. I was like, so where do I go from here, like? And he's like, you're just gonna have to drive her home and get it fixed. I was fucking fuming, like. I was like, "Yous are absolutely useless cunts, like. Yous aren't gonna do anything." And they were like, we can put it up on Facebook.
Oh wow.
And see, does anyone get in touch? Imagine like someone just being like, "Oh yeah, that was me, soz lad." I'll send the money your way. But that was alright. I just drove home, and the fucking car was wrecked. I can't believe they let me drive home in it. Like one of the rims was half like cracked off. Like.
Oh my god.
And they goes, just drive on home, sure. But like,
You know the funniest part of that was?
if you had been stopped
Yeah.
like that,
yeah,
you'd have been dead.
exactly.
Oh,
But,
the police told me to drive home. Good
Yeah.
one.
So I went on the CCTV in the bookies. Obviously, it wasn't looking at my car was parked too far up, but I like looked at all the lorries that went past, matched the headlight with one of the lorries, went up to your buddy's yard, seen the lorry sitting there with no headlight, and then your buddy was like, he was fucking fuming, like he was like, he drove that lorry in here and never told anyone that he'd hit it, like. So I'm sorry if that buddy got sacked, like, but you know,
Oh, did
man
you get-
had to get the
did
car
you-
fixed, like.
you
Yeah, he
pay it?
paid for it and all that. So
Were you up with the
Sort
friggin'
of.
magnifying glass and
Yeah, it's
all?
like-
I thought that was
scan your
so
parts, like.
because like that's what the police should have done. Like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you
Yeah.
done not spent the time watch the CCTV. Like
It's too much effort for them for what
Yeah.
it was, like.
But do you not think there's that suspect thing where it's like you're a young driver in like what probably back then was considered like a stereotypical young person's car, and
I know,
they
there's-
probably thought he's just probably cleared this off a wall, and now he's like sitting here saying,
There's
"Oh,
fucking gold wheels on it, like.
it was proper bad. Like,
Gold
I remember
wheels.
seeing it in school and just thinking, how the fuck has he done this? Like? And then that was mad. Like.
I drove about with 2 standards on one side and then 2 gold wheels on the other side. So like depending on what side you see me from, like it looked like
nah,
a
the
different
car
car.
either looked
Was the
mint or
door not sort of hanging off it as well? Like, would it not? It was proper
fucked the whole
into the
back
side
like
of it. Like.
bumper and all that there shit in the front of it too. And there's a big scrape up the side of it, like, but he fixed that, like.
So don't give up on your dreams. If you're looking at any detectives, you know who to call.
But like if someone, are you at the stage now where if someone did like reverse or like drive into your car, would you just keep driving it, or would you like would there be a point where you'd be like, because you don't seem like the type of person who wants a new car at the moment, but like would there be a point if someone drove into you, you'd be like, yeah right, this is the excuse, I need to get a new car?
I actually wouldn't mind if someone did drive into me and get a new car out of it. Like. I'd be like, happy enough. Fresh new it on its way. No, I couldn't give a shit. I'd say if that happened now, like now, I would not go to the lengths that I went to before.
Aye. Fair enough.
Call me Arsenal.
So what would your dream car be?
So much, like, I think about this all the time. I actually
lie in bed, can't fucking sleep.
You know what I mean?
What am I
like,
gonna
you know
get
when
next?
like you're just thinking like,
It's like that meme. He's probably lying there thinking about other girls.
I'd love to have like a proper sports car when I'm older. Like I'd love like an Audi R8 or something.
Yeah,
I think they're class now, but I don't know. We were talking about this just before. Like, I would quite like the idea of having a Tesla.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
they're so nice inside and all.
My thing is, I can't be asked doing like a slight upgrade. Like, you know, going from a Jetta to like, say, a fucking Audi or something or like that there. Exactly. I just can't be asked. Well, like, I'm just sort of like, what's the point? You're basically just going for like a more modern suited car. I'd rather like wait for longer and then like make a bigger step into something more expensive.
I think I'll do that. I think I'll drive this car until it's on its last legs, and then like when I'm getting a new car, like it'll be a proper upgrade. But like, I don't know. See, I think we're at the age where like I would like put my money into better things. Like, I'd rather save up and like get a mortgage instead of like saving up to get a car. Like you're saying, just a bit better than like my car's like 2015. Like it's not really. I don't need a new car.
See, the thing was, which that I remember whenever I told you I was getting that car, and you were a bit like, what, like why? But I feel like it was so out of the blue, because like I was looking on used cars NI for like I was looking at them, like Golfs and A3s and stuff and like A classes, and I was like, I want a proper like nice car, because like I haven't lived up in Belfast, so I've probably saved a fair whack of money not doing that. And like I'd be the same as you. I'd be like, in the next couple of years want to like get a mortgage and stuff. But then, to be honest with you, I was like, right, realistically, the car I have now, I'm gonna need a bigger one, because like me and then Ian are just like you and then you, like there was no room. Like we went to McDonald's that day and it was tight squeeze, like, and to be honest with you, I was like, no, this isn't, like, this no longer even
back where it belongs.
It's not even fun to drive anymore. You're just kind of like, oh, right, that's this crap. And as well as that, I kind of outgrown it, like the Corsa thing. Do you know what I mean? Because there's that sort of stereotype around a Corsa,
the Prowler.
Yeah.
I think it is a very like first car type thing.
Yeah. So I think my thought process was, I may as well get it now, save money for the next 2-3 years while I can, as opposed to keep the car that I have, and then 2 or 3 years time when I actually am ready to make like sort of the big boy decisions, be like, oh no, I can't do that because I need a new car.
But you'll not get a new car now for ages. Like.
Oh no, 100%.
Like that's the thing. I just think like you see all these people now our age getting like real nice cars, and you're sort of like, well, it's not raw. Like, I don't know. Is it not something you work towards and then actually get a proper real nice car? You look back and be like, oh, I've earned this.
Yeah.
Whereas I think now you're just like spending money or getting like a nice car in finance. It's just sort of like,
I think the decision as well, like the fact that like, you know, finally I drive my car up here and like I'm pure like, if like I hear anything like banging or anything outside, I'm looking out thinking someone's like hit that car, and like it's a really bad way to be, but at the same time I think I'm like, right, like I'm still living at home, so it's part safe in the driveway, so it was less of a kind of, oh no, I can't get that because I live up in Belfast, someone might nick it. But then like you drive down that road and you see flipping big Mercs and all.
But like everyone has this opinion of like living up in Belfast, like everyone just gets stolen. It's such a load of shit.
Were you not in your old house? Were you not there one night when a car was stolen in your old flat? I remember coming in one day and you were like, oh, a car was stolen last night, and I was...
I know, but like that's a once in a blue moon.
I know, I'm not saying.
But like that's like you, like how many times has there been in Ballymena where someone's got their car stolen?
To be fair, I don't know. I'd probably say it happens on a daily basis. You probably just don't hear of it. Like,
it's like it happens anywhere. Like, it's just, I don't know. Belfast just sort of has this thing about like people still think the fucking troubles are happening. Like. No, seriously, like people back home, like when you're like, oh, Belfast, they're like, don't know. Like.
Oh no, it's always, look, you need to watch where you go around there.
Exactly, like all like your granny. Oh, you need to watch yourself up in Belfast. Like, and you're like, what do you think's happening? Like, what the fuck?
But then I suppose people hear all the bad stuff, like the guy that was cycling around Belfast, like stabbing the people, and people are like, you live up there.
But like Belfast is massive.
But then
like that's like Dublin. It's like, oh, you better watch yourself around.
But then, as I said, like Lucinda's sister lives in London, and she came over. She comes over at like holiday times, and she was like, we were literally talking. I think it was about the guy cycling around and stabbing in Belfast. Remember when the guy was like, they traced him where he was. They were able to trace him, but they weren't able to find him.
And did he cycle around in the shape of a penis?
He was Suez Canal type. But he was like cycling around, like stabbing people.
I don't even remember hearing about this.
And
it was right in the city centre.
It was right. It was right here.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it was in the city centre. It was like outside City Hall and all that.
He probably passed your window and you were like, oh,
like
hello.
Years ago when I was like 17 in Middletown.
But yeah, and then she was just like, oh, like that's mad. She was like, oh, where I'm from, like where I live in London, like there was a girl, they like get on mopeds and like they just like mount the sidewalk and like drive down the sidewalk and like just grab people, like they grab girls by the hair and all, like drag them down, just steal their bags and go off in a wee moped.
That's a huge thing over in London, like moped crime.
She was
Is
just
it?
huge.
The moped crime is such a problem in London.
The man them, like they are out.
Obviously, because in
Zoom
London,
zoom.
like traffic is obviously fucking gridlock most of the time.
Yeah.
So the best way, obviously, to get around in the streets would be either running, walking, or like cycling, or else a moped.
Yeah.
So like a moped's obviously the fastest way.
So like
that's the way they can
one
do
guy,
crime now.
it's like Deliveroo. One guy drives, the other guy's on the back. He
Yeah.
knows the score, and he's
Seriously?
like they drive.
I've never seen some
like
of these videos.
that's what
No.
she says. She was like,
Fucking
if you're walking along the sidewalk and you hear a moped, you clutch on to whatever
Yeah.
you have,
Seriously.
like children
This is
and
mad.
everything.
I've never
There's
heard of
videos
this.
of
Oh, I'm
them
not sure
jumping
about
off
children.
fucking
Yeah.
machetes and shit like.
Seriously?
Just
Yeah.
to go to attack people.
Yeah.
Because like the cops
Mad.
obviously driving cars.
Oh
You just
my
weave
God.
in through the
Yeah,
like,
and it's
traffic
like
in your way, like.
you imagine, right? Where you live there, where you live here, or like even a couple of streets down, where there's a couple of wee side alleys.
Yeah.
You imagine like someone on a moped, they like kind of get in front of the police. The police are stuck in traffic. They're able to just freaking mount the footpath, go down a wee sidewalk, and as well as that, if they steal a handbag with an iPhone 12 Pro Max or something in it, which is like £1,100, probably costs more than the moped because the moped was probably stole as well.
Yeah, that's the thing about mopeds too. They're so basic. Like they're probably easy hot wire.
I had a moped.
Oh Jesus!
My God.
I had a moped
Rush
whenever
around
I was.
Belfast
I had a
or
moped
Ballymena
whenever.
with a machete.
I had a moped whenever I was 16. Got a wee moped and.
Please don't tell me you're talking at the school.
No, I used to take it and like park it at one of my dad's mate's house, which was like a walk away from school,
Was it
Yeah.
road
because I
legal?
was like, yeah, it was road legal.
Jesus Christ.
But like, it was literally just like a spur of the moment thing where like, it was like a friend of a friend had it. I was like, yeah, I'm selling this, and I was like, you know what, like, bit of independence, like, but at the same time, see when you're scooting into school with like a pair of like your school blazer on, the wee helmet, and you're thinking to yourself like, if a BMW or X5 or something just drove out, like,
My God.
I'm dead.
In fairness, it's better than what happened at our school. Like it was tractors in our school. Remember,
Oh.
everyone used to bring in tractors
Oh,
whenever they were
God.
16
Fair
and
enough.
park them across the road from school. But that was kind of like cool.
Was
You
it?
would say like
Was it?
like,
I don't know.
sort of like.
I can't even think of anyone.
It's
like
because
that.
whenever you're like, but you do wonder at that, because I had a mate, whenever he turned 16, he was driving a tractor. So they won't let you drive a car, but they let you drive
fucking
a vehicle,
3
which
ton.
literally, like, if I came over
Yeah.
the brow of a hill and met a tractor in the middle of the road, I would probably far rather try my chances with a car than a tractor, because he'd just
Probably.
drive straight over the top
It's
of me.
probably more the speed aspect of
Yeah.
it though. You can only go so far. You could get lawnmowers faster than a tractor. You'll ride on lawnmowers like.
But they're so precious. Like, I love them people who are so precious about their tractors,
Mad.
like
I just
polishing them and
I
all.
hate them. I hate seeing them on the road. Like.
What,
There's only
tractors?
one
Yeah.
thing I
Are you
hate.
one of them guys? What about cyclists?
What do you
I was
mean?
gonna
You
say
see when you're
cyclists, like-
driving on the road and a tractor's in front of you, like it's so annoying.
That's what I hate about driving up here on a Sunday. All the cyclists are out.
I know,
Oh,
cyclists.
it
What
takes
is your
about-
problem? And then the ones who don't like pull, like fair enough if you're out cycling, whatever. Like, but like you see the ones who just don't pull in on the road, like,
Aye.
and you're just like, I could kill you, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what's even worse? The ones that cycle in twos.
No.
That's what
Right.
I mean.
Why?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
It's alright,
think.
single file.
Right.
Yeah,
I
that's easy
don't.
enough,
I
like.
don't think they should be cycling in threes. But I understand when they're cycling in twos. I used to not. But then when I
Cycle boy.
did start cycling, right.
Bike
but
boy.
listen. But do you know? But do you know?
Shut up.
Do you know why they?
Get
do you,
out.
do you know why they do that? They
'Cause
do
they're
it.
fucking cunts.
No, they
So they can
do.
talk to each other.
No, they do it because if you have 8 cyclists all cycling in a single row, you're technically still giving them the same amount of space that you're giving them if they're in a 2 to overtake them. So you're overtaking 8 cyclists, as opposed to if they're in 2s, they're technically only 4 long. So it takes you less time to overtake them, so it's less dangerous.
But they're now like there's.
But
never,
on a narrow road, like, no, like they shouldn't be.
There's never 8 cyclists together. It's always 3, 4, another mile up the road,
Yeah.
6.
I know.
Another
Yeah.
mile up the road, 2, and then like or way
That's
way on at the back. It's like one.
Why can you not just stay on the wee pack?
I love how you say, "Can you not just?" This is just a classic flipping. Like this is
You
like
see,
cycling.
Can you not just meet up at someone's
yeah,
yard or
you're
something and
labeling
just
it
cycle?
like a cycling proficiency. Just ride around the schoolyard.
Way, like you have ones in a one wee row, and you're like, right, no Bob. But then like he's saying there, like you'll have like 3, and then you'll take over, and then there'll be an all by in a zone, and then you'll take over, and there'll be an all by.
They're probably all out individually.
They're not
No,
like
it's
boys.
too,
These are wee
no.
groups and all wee clubs. Like get a life.
Cycle clubs. It's good.
The
'cause
hatred has went out.
bikes don't have radio, so they can't listen to us.
So but do you not think like from a exercise point of view, like,
Yeah,
What's wrong with the exercise bike?
just keep inside. Just
Watch TV.
but like I've sent you some of my calories after a cycle, and you're like, holy moly.
But you could just do that in the house with a TV in front of you, and you can get your mate over, and two of you could go like
He's gonna sit
tandem.
beside each other in front of
Hold
you.
hands.
You can even talk and hear each
It's
other.
all
Like,
safe. Like.
you wouldn't
Fair
get
enough.
wet if it was raining.
Yeah, fair enough. But
I've just solved cycling.
Knowledge.
so we talked last week on the podcast, moving on, about this Evergreen. Is it Evergreen or Evergiven? 'Cause
Evergreen.
Evergreen, the ship. But basically, I have good news to report. As of yesterday, the ship has now been freed.
Yes.
They have got the ship freed. But I was
This will
reading
be
this.
going out next week, so it'll be as of a week ago.
I was reading this article which basically said,
Have you seen the Tokyo Drift thing?
no,
Where do you see this?
Did you see what Mercedes put up?
no.
It was like they photoshopped a photo of one of their F1 cars like towing the boat, and Red Bull replied, and it was like, you need a Red Bull car for that there. And then Mercedes replied, and they're like, why is that? Because it's off the track. Because I think there was like a whole big thing where like they came off the track in one of the races.
Look at this.
Thought it was pretty edgy. Jesus Christ.
See it, then you mean it. Oh my word! Imagine the captain of that ship. Like,
God.
oh boys, we've got her layered.
Hey,
Like,
what is this conspiracy?
but
theory?
there is a conspiracy which basically, so there was a planned parade of 22 mummies through Cairo, which people have
Dead people, not mothers of children.
yeah, like mummies, like Egyptian mummies, which are like
Is it
the dead,
I'm
right?
confused.
So-
is it mummies?
It's the rap.
Like mummies, yeah, mummies that are wrapped
like
rapping
rapping mummies,
yeah.
like Cardi B mummies. She's a rapping mummy.
So like 22 mummies, these like wrapped mummies basically.
Yeah.
So they paraded 22 mummies through Cairo, and people have assumed that this has awakened an ancient curse. Now, obviously, you take the Ever-Given or the Evergreen, whichever way you want to call it, and it obviously got wedged in the Suez Canal. So they think that this is the curse that has caused this to happen, because obviously it's near Egypt. But then also, when you read into it, in Egypt in the past few weeks, there has been a train wreck which has claimed over 30 lives, and then a series of other strange incidents and accidents that have happened in Egypt. But some guys come out and basically denied all the rumours and said, look, this isn't true, like people are talking crap basically. But apparently then there was a deadly collision of 2 trains in Egypt. And then there also was a collapse of a 10-story building in Cairo, a fire at a station tunnel, and then the collapse of scaffolding off a concrete column from a bridge under construction, and then a major house fire.
Yeah.
So people have basically tied all these things together and been like, there's a curse.
Sounds like a normal week in Ballymena.
True.
Remember, the most tragic thing that happened in Ballymena in the past while was, and there were actually conspiracies surrounding this, was there was a furniture shop in Ballymena
Right.
which went on fire. And I think it was, there's so many people chat crap, but basically people were like,
Hot deals today.
yeah, it was this
Deals too hot. Place burnt down.
yeah, there was a furniture shop in Ballymena basically burnt, and there was a whole big thing about it. But I think it was like people were saying there was a lamp or something on and it caught fire, or the sun was beaming through the window and hit a mirror, which was like concentrating heat on this sofa. And then some people were like,
Crazy.
and then of course you got the Karens. I wonder how that burnt down. Well, I'll tell you how it burned down.
I heard from such and such. And
I
such and
heard
such.
from Rhonda the other day, and Rhonda's sister Mary was speaking to Aisling outside the school when they were ready to pick up the child, and they said that it was an insurance fraud.
Wow.
Now this went around, the rumours went around, the rumours were ripe. But yeah, I just think it was a general same guy. Actually, that time, this was maybe 3-4 years ago, my sister was getting married, and this is one of my wee breakout stories, but my sister was obviously moving out. She was getting married and I was taking her room, so we went bed shopping, and I got the cringiest sales pitch from a salesperson that I've ever got in my life. He walked in and we were trying beds, right? So like, if you ever went
trying beds,
so like,
how
you
did you try the bed?
get in the bed and you lie down, and then you're like, oh, yes, I can see myself resting in this bed. But it's really awkward because like, you go in and you're like, hello sir, I'm here to try out your beds, and they're like, yeah, no problem. This was like obviously before COVID, and you lay down in beds, and like, they were all like, no, how does it feel? And like, you obviously had memory foam, and then you had the spring mattress and all that there. But this guy came out of this like wee store place, and I was like sort of testing the bed out, and he came over and he was like, hello sir, can I help you with anything? And I was like, no, I'm good, like we're just shopping for mattresses and beds and stuff, like I just want to check this could be the right one for me. And then like, he was one of them people where, do you know, whenever you were a young person, you went in with your parents, and even though it was for you, they would always just try to sell to your parents because they assumed that they were the people obviously that had the money.
Yeah.
Well, this time
you're
like,
hardly walking in with a fucking wad of mattress.
But like, so like, he obviously was aware of this and like bypassed. My dad was there, and my dad was buying the mattress, like, but he bypassed my dad and started speaking to me, but like made direct eye contact with me, and I feel so uncomfortable whenever people do that I don't know. So he's pure like, so this bed and this bed and this bed, took me around for like half an hour, and Dad and me were just like, we're getting really sick and tired of this.
Did at any point go, come around the back, I've got a real good one here, you just leave your dad out here, me and you just try it.
I've got a bouncy one, velvet sheets.
Wow.
But yeah, he turned around and he was like, lie on the bed, and I was like, oh, okay. So lay on the bed.
Lie on the bed now.
Get on the bed. And he was like, yeah, like, and then he came over and like plumped up the pillows for me, and I was like, this guy has definitely got ulterior motives here. So lay on the bed, and he was just like, right, how does it feel? And I said, yeah, good. And he like started this. He started this sales.
Just honoring, how does it feel now?
He started this sales pitch while I was lying on the bed, and let me tell you something. I have been in not many awkward situations in my life, but when you're lying on a bed, you feel so vulnerable. This guy sits at the bottom of the bed, folds his legs, and he's like, listen, Ross, you need to obviously tell me and your dad how you feel about these beds, because at the end of the day, it's you that's going to be sleeping in this for the good foreseeable future. You know, whenever you move house and you know, you get married, all that stuff, and like winked at me, and I was just like, you are clearly not hitting your sales quota.
A bed shop or a therapy?
He was like, you know, whenever you get married, you could take this mattress with you, and I was like, here, you got a point there. Obviously, not buying for life, you know what I mean? A mattress isn't for Christmas, it's for life. But yeah, he was just like, then he turned around and he looked at me, and the cringiest sales pitches I've ever heard in my life. He was like, listen, Ross, I'm not trying to sell you a mattress here, son. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to sell you a good night's sleep. And I was like, okay, we're leaving. I was like, no. Have you ever been mattress shopping? No.
Yeah, actually recently got them. Well, recently, like, it was probably like a year ago. Got my first memory foam one. But I think
word on the street is they're hot.
They're great. Like, that's the thing. Whenever I tried it out in the shop, it seemed a lot softer and more comfortable than it was whenever I got it home. But you know what it was? It's whenever you put a bed sheet on it, it's not the same. You don't have the same contact.
Right.
So now whenever I'm sleeping, I'll pull the bed sheet off and I'll just lie on the memory foam just to get down into it. Like, I'd be digging at night to try and get the comfort.
But do you find that it
like
actually like what? So my perception of the memory foam is like you wake up and you're like still in the same shape that you were when you went to sleep, or what's the crack? And apparently they're roasting.
They're so fucking hot. Holy shit! See if the heat's on in the house, like you can't get to sleep. It's so warm. But they don't like hold your shape or anything. I don't think. Like they're firm.
Do you think all that stuff's a load of shit, like?
There's no, like, it's really firm compared to a spring bed, but like it's not. I'm saying that it's more comfortable.
Uncomfortable or comfortable?
Sometimes it can be like, whenever I first got it, it was really uncomfortable because it was so hard and needed like slapped in. Like.
Yeah. Did you buy a good night's sleep though?
I don't know.
Yeah, you weren't buying a mattress, you were buying a good night's sleep.
I know.
I'll bring you down to Ballymena and get you onto my boy.
Literally get you on them. Jesus.
He's the king of mattress sales. But yeah, moving on from that, how did we bypass this from talking about
Dunno.
the mummies?
You were telling us about your boyfriend in Ballymena.
Yeah. Other rumours are floating around. I feel like we always talk about like YouTube drama.
Yeah.
So have you heard the rumours about a certain Addison Rae and Logan Paul?
Oh yeah. I actually seen a clip of this on TikTok where it was like your buddy Bryce Hall, you know that one, it's like that Barstool podcast.
Yeah.
It was like they had him on it and they were asking, they were like, he's basically like, are you still banging Addison Rae?
What?
He's
That
like-
direct?
Like since like that, like since like the whatever's happened with him, he's like, have you like had sexual contact with her or something? And he sort of just laughed, and then Bryce Hall was like saying, he's like, oh, like all this shit about like him and this girl, but he's like she was literally hanging out with Jake Paul or Logan Paul, like
Everyone's
straight
actually seems to
after,
be
like.
hanging about them too.
But like Jake Paul, is Logan Paul not like proper older than her? Like? Is he not like 30?
Logan Paul
near
is
30?
I thought Logan Paul was like
25.
Is he only 25?
25, 26. I thought he was
Look him up
22
there.
or was.
How old is he?
Jake, same age as us, isn't he? He's 23, 24.
That's so depressing though.
I know.
They're so rich. Like.
No, he's a year older. He's 24, so Logan Paul is 26.
Logan Paul is 26.
Fucking good.
She's
I am
18
good.
though. Like.
Is she?
Yeah, that's quite a yap, like.
not.
I think
she
she
is.
is.
No,
She's 19. 19.
Get out. She's 20.
She's 20.
6th of October 2000.
6 years.
I mean, she's younger than us. That's mad. She seems so much
She's younger than
older.
us. No, she doesn't.
She does,
She's like
like.
a fucking kid. Just because you have a wee thing for her.
No, she looks a lot.
She looks 18.
Dan, you're closer to her age than us, like.
Yeah.
So it's not as weird for you.
Yeah. I'm 21 now.
There's other Addison Rae things coming up there. What are they?
But yeah,
Favourites.
so this is how I would hate to be a celebrity over in like LA, because like literally they just like latch onto you for anything. So basically these rumors started because they were spotted playing volleyball.
Wow.
Like what?
Yes, you can just make it something out of that, like nothing if it makes something out of nothing.
Was it beach volleyball?
I don't know. I don't know. But he basically was like, yeah, I'm not dating her. She's just a friend and I think she's great. Sus. And then she was just like, no, I'm not dating him, but like I like to get involved with like interesting people from Hollywood. And you're just
That
like,
sounds so
what
sexual.
the heck? But yeah, obviously she's doing her thing. How did that whole thing with her and your other fella, was it Bryce Hall?
Yeah.
He looks like a bit of a dose.
The end TikTok page are a bit like, oh, this is
Gibbs.
yeah,
Fucking Gibbs.
pretty much.
Did you see there's now this YouTube versus TikTok boxing match?
Yeah, well, like where'd that come out? I feel like there was no like talk of it. It just sort of
Could've built
happened.
up, like.
KSI's wee bro was fighting on it, isn't
Aye,
he?
did you?
What is the deal with him?
He's a good boxer.
Is he?
I've seen some
Is he
clips and he's powerful. Like
Jake
I'm
Paul
sure.
beat him.
Huh?
Jake Paul beat him.
I know, but
Says it all.
he probably done more damage. Well, then Jake Paul's a lot more inexperienced, but like he probably done more damage to Jake Paul than Nate Robinson did. Like he proper had Jake Paul bleeding, like, and they were using head guards. But the Vidal, who coaches KSI, was like, if Deji puts in the training, he's capabilities of being a much better boxer than KSI.
Do you not feel like the whole YouTube boxing thing's went so far now?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I think
just
it
gonna
needs
get to the stage
stop
where
it.
it comes to like a pinnacle, and then it's gonna be like, right, no more.
But that's the thing with YouTube, the big YouTubers, they just jump onto something else.
Yeah,
It's
Carl
MMA next or
Frampton
something.
had a fair whack to say about it the other week.
What did he say?
He was basically commenting on the whole Logan Paul or Jake Paul calling out McGregor,
That was
Yeah.
a while back.
and was like, I thought it was only like, oh, maybe it was a while ago.
Like, if you
Yeah.
call me missus out there,
Yeah.
I'll fucking string him up. Like,
Aye. Like when you hear a Belfast accent, you immediately don't associate it with like a
Yeah.
boxer like that.
No.
Like but like the one of the guys was like, would you fight him though? And he was like, no. And the other guy was like, but would you fight him if he was offering you 50 million? And Carl Frampton was like, no.
Seriously?
Yeah, he was
That's
like, no.
crazy,
But like,
man.
I feel like regardless
think
of
Frampton gets that sort of money for a fight.
I think
Well,
he-
I know he wouldn't
he
get
gets-
50 million, but I think he get near that.
I think he does. Though.
I think you do well.
He wants to be world champion. I listened to a podcast about he was on, and he's like saying all about it. So he's fighting this week, is he not? or next week.
Clue.
But I feel like there's like it's the same reason why like McGregor's only said so much about Jake Paul, because I feel like Jake Paul just went about it the wrong way, where people were just like, shut up, like honestly shut up, like it wasn't even like he was just being a child. And I feel like people like Carl Frampton and like Conor McGregor, who are a lot more sort of mature now, are probably like, I'm not buying into this, like no matter how much money you offer me, I'm not buying into it.
This is going to like,
it's not worth it for them.
I think it's going to end like one of the YouTubers or whatever is actually going to get properly hurt, and everyone's going to be like, oh shit. I think that's how it'll end. I think like someone will
Death.
But I don't mean like death, but I think it'll end like someone will, because like nobody's really like got hurt, like nobody's got knocked out properly. Like Nate Robinson was knocked down or whatever, but like I mean proper like tuck off, stretchered off or something.
I don't know.
UFC next.
Yeah, and then
I'd love to see them in the UFC.
The UFC would be more entertaining because you know they could get hurt. Like
and then Logan Paul. I think Jake Paul's moving as well, but Logan Paul came out in the podcast the other week and said that he was moving to settle down in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Couldn't see it.
Why?
Because Logan Paul's all about that LA life.
He's
just doing he's doing a fucking Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but right.
He's like, oh, I'm going to copy this guy. I have a podcast now. I'm gonna
No,
copy
but
Joe
like,
Rogan.
listen to this. He actually went into the whole sort of like
it's
actual
alright
details
now,
of it.
though, like, oh, we go to Puerto Rico, we're in lockdown, you can't really do much anyway. But like once like partying comes back,
But like, have you heard
Logan
about
Paul being a young single man in LA? Like,
Have
he's
you
gonna go. He's gonna stay in LA.
Is it him, Shea, Hollywood correspondent? But like, have you seen the taxes? Like he basically came out and was like, I think he's paying like 35% of his income goes to tax, and then he pays an additional 13% for California income tax. So like, if that's true, he's paying 48% tax. So if he earns $1 million, he's paying 480,000, whereas Puerto Rico's 4%. So he earns $1 million and he pays 40 grand.
Realistically, he'll work in Puerto Rico and he'll still have a house in California.
He's never been in Puerto Rico.
Take his wee private jet over whenever he wants.
Good. But like, he was basically saying like, what's the point? Like, I'm paying piles of money in taxes to California, like state, and yet like the homeless and all in LA is mad. Like what? Like there's potholes everywhere, and I'm thinking
he's just
myself,
putting this out in the
come
media
to
so he doesn't get Jimmy Card. Like, remember what happened to Jimmy Card? Didn't he have like the offshore like bank thing? Like, he has to like make a story up for the media, and then like to say that he's going to live there and like make it seem real honest and all, and then like if what would you call it over there, like the fraud squad, or like
the fraud
investigating
squad.
them, he can go back and be like, oh look, I put out all these videos, everyone knows that this is for real, like that he's not faking it, and then he's just going to live in LA.
Well, here's a question for you: if you had one opportunity to move anywhere, where would you go to?
What a question.
So like, obviously take away like family and stuff, like you could take family with you or something along the lines out there where you'd know like emotional ties in Northern Ireland.
This is getting deep.
But like, where would you go to?
John,
I would love to go to LA, but I think the one that tops that is Japan.
Japan?
Wow.
Why Japan?
Japan drift scene. All the Japanese cars.
You take the Passat.
The Passat. The Jetta.
The Jetta. Bing, 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 ding,
like
ding.
all those fucking and like just that sort of lifestyle is like miniature foods and stuff. Like,
would you wear your kimono?
So
kimono?
Absolutely. Straight through.
Like Schmidt out a new girl. I worked 80 hours this week. I can't just wait to get in and get my kimono on.
It's a crazy way of living. Like, it's also like fast paced and shit. Like, I don't think I could live there forever. Like, I think living over there, it's very cramped. I think I get sick of that after a while, but I'd definitely love to go to Japan.
I think I'd go to Canada.
Why?
Just because Canada is like kind of seems like the sort of chilled version of America, with massive cities and stuff, which I would love to go to. But as well as that, I feel like you could have a nice sort of quiet country life. Do you know what I mean?
You're leaving Northern Ireland to get a quiet country life.
But like, have you seen the landscapes in Canada?
Ross on hunt for.
But like, you could go like, there's like, I understand there's this big.
Same about here though.
I understand there's this big push in Northern Ireland where like it's like, go explore the world, like explore Northern Ireland, and like, fair enough. I think I've explored a lot of Northern Ireland, but like, I think Canada would just be so nice.
Do you know there's a lot of places in America that are named after places here?
Oh.
Remember in that, what was it? The place is called Derry.
Oh.
I think it was actually called after here. There's a few other ones. I'll try and look them up here. See if
What
I can
about
find
you?
them.
Where'd you go?
I don't know. See, it's like, I think I like the whole like LA, like the thought of living in LA and living that high life, but it's like, you haven't been there, you don't actually know what it's like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I feel like
Like,
the
if you lived over in
Americanized
LA,
way would just piss you off.
You'd need to be rich though. Like,
Yeah.
it's alright now being like, oh, I'd love to live in New York or LA, but it's like, realistically, if you went over there, you'd be living in a box
Yeah.
in a shitty place in town. Whereas, like, if you were rich, I think I'd like to go on holiday over. I'd love to, like, one of the things on my bucket list would be like go over to America and like do the whole like road trip from like San Francisco down to like Las Vegas and all.
That'd be nice.
And then I'd love to go to like Coachella or something.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
A place called Bangor in Maine.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
There's also a Belfast in Maine, a Limerick in Maine, a Newry in Maine.
Oh, really?
There's a Dundalk in Maryland.
Wow.
Antrim County in Michigan.
No.
Dublin, Michigan. But I think that's all. It's not like people from Ireland who've went over there and settled there.
I do
Towns.
I do feel like there's a good chunk of Ireland that needs explored. I've probably only ever been as far as like maybe Sligo.
Sligo's far though.
Aye.
Have you been in
but
Galway?
no,
Galway's
I'd love
nice,
to
though.
go.
That's too
I'd
far
love
into
to go.
into
Annis.
God's country
What
for
about
you.
Annis?
Not
Hey,
God's country over the border.
We went to Annis. It was a proper spin.
It's like, I think we made it more of a spin than it was. Like.
But you obviously have them stereotypical places to go in Ireland. Like you've got like
Candlebar.
the Cliffs of Moher and all, and like all them places. But like, if anybody is listening to this who is from down south, let us know where there'd be some nice places to go. Because you ever think whenever you do a podcast and you're in Northern Ireland, you know fine rightly is if we post a clip up of this on TikTok where we're like, oh, I'd love to, like, I think I've done a lot of Northern Ireland, so I'd like to explore a bit of Ireland. Someone will comment and be like, it's Ireland overall. It's Ireland. It's Ireland. And yeah, the TikToks are ripe for that.
It's ripe, your new word.
Yeah, the ripe's my new word.
But do you not think like there's with like the whole like going somewhere? Do you not think everyone's always like, oh, I'd love to go there, but they know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Like everyone's always like, oh, I'd love to live in Australia, but you're like, do you know anything about
Lad,
Australia?
if I moved to Australia in the second I like turned my pillow or something, there was a big one of them big hairy ass spiders staring at me, I'd be like, no thanks, I'm packing my bags and I'm leaving.
It's a no from me.
What would be the one thing that would scare? What are you scared of? Is it spiders?
That's
Really?
what I would put me off about Australia. I think Australia's class. Like, you hear all these stories of people like, oh, you just like go and have your lunch on the beach and all, and everyone like you finish work and everyone's on the beach and it's just so sunny and vibes.
Christmas on the beach.
But like the spiders, but then like also people from Australia, like you always see like James Smith and stuff. Or like I think I've seen a spider once.
Yeah.
There's like it's just not really a thing.
It's like the stabbings in Belfast. Like
Exactly.
you're not likely to see one. Really.
No.
So where you're voting for? Where?
I don't know. Like, I think I'd like to go to America and like see LA and stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't know. If I was rich, who knows?
You go everywhere.
Build
Go
your own
everywhere.
country.
Exactly.
Where would be your dream holiday destination?
These are such like
Japan.
there's so many places I want to go.
What is it attracts you to Japan? Just this whole general fast-paced movement of everything.
I would
and
imagine you went
but
to
it's
Japan and you just didn't see one like exotic car and it was just all like fucking Suzuki's and all that.
Then
You'd
we-
be so disappointed.
But it'd be cool. Like I think it's cool. Like even that Asian way of living, the fakery. You know the fakery where like the fake like brands and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool too. Like a lot of the like you don't see, obviously you see like fake t-shirts and shit over here,
Yeah.
but they have fake actual car brands.
Seriously?
Like they have fake Mercedes and all over there and like fake BMWs. Like it would be so funny even just to see things like that over there. Like,
You post
Be
up,
hilarious.
oh guys, just bought my bought my M4.
but it's the same as
You start it as like a smart car.
It'd be like a what would it like W4 or something. But it's the same as you with like going to Canada where it's like you're fast paced and then you're like
You can edge out,
countryside.
yeah.
Because like the Japanese mountains and shit like that where the drifting goes down.
You just want to live the Tokyo drift life.
Fucking
You want to be drift king?
Driving into car parks and all, like fucking after school, going drifting around at night.
Here's the crack.
Me and Thomas go over and visit. This guy comes over. He says he wants to meet DK.
You know what DK stands for?
You know what DK stands for? Drift King. me and Thomas just rock up and Shea's like different round a cone.
She just there with like a toothpick and all.
Kenny Drive. But
I know every single word of that movie.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's such a good film.
Every single word. Like
I don't know. I don't know
that with Aoife and she'd be fucking cracking up.
Controversially, I don't know if Tokyo Drift's my favourite Fast and Furious.
Shut
up. I would actually think Fast 5's mine, where they steal the safe.
It's a hot five.
If it goes past
I don't
fucking
even
3
think
or I don't know.
What I would love to know
Aye.
about that movie on a serious note, and we'll maybe wrap it up here. You know in Fast and Furious 5 when they steal the safe?
I think that was like the last good one, I would
Yeah.
say.
Well,
was
now
okay.
flipping John
Oh,
Cena's
just
in
fuck
it,
off with that,
and
like.
like
It's
they're
not Fast and Furious anymore.
It's not. Absolutely not. Like that
not.
spin. I didn't even watch that spin off of like what was it, Sean Hobbs?
Oh, it's the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
yeah,
That's
Idris
so
Elba
makes me
was a
sad,
robot
like.
basically.
Fucking started off great, like with Too Fast, Too Furious, and Fast and
Yeah.
Furious.
But what I would love to know is, see in Fast 5, whenever they steal the safe and they drive around, like, and the safe is literally ploughing through buildings.
Mm-hmm.
How did they ever think, you know what we're going to do? Steal a safe and kill hundreds of people. Imagine, like, realistically, if that was real life and you're standing there, like, they were like, haha, guys, I just heard chatter there on the radio. Did you just crash into a bank? But, like, when you actually do, like, think about the logistics of that movie and, like, if it was in real life, imagine you're standing in the middle, like, Armagh, putting your card into the machine, about to lift 20 quid out, 20 scoops. Next minute you look around and there's a big bloody safe crashing towards you and just squishes you. And then it's like, haha, boys, did I just hear chatter on the radio that you killed hundreds of people while stealing 30 million? If you actually do think about it. But then there's just so many movies that are like that. It's the same thing when the Avengers, whenever it crashed, the whole place crashes down, and then in it, I think it was like, what was it?
I know, but
Civil War.
They sort of address it in Civil War. They're like, you can't keep doing this. Like.
You can't keep killing millions of people. So we'll end it there.
Just millions of people dying.
We'll leave it there. I feel like we should end these podcasts by, because there were a few replies to our last podcast when we asked about, I think there was a few replies anyway when we asked about what was it we asked about, oh yeah, childhoods if you lived in the country compared to if you lived in the city.
I don't think we got any replies.
And well, hopefully we'll get a reply to this. If you could choose, if you could up and go to one country, what would it be and why?
Just asked us that.
There you go.
Oh wait, you're asking the viewer.
Yeah, I'm asking the people who are listening. So yeah, let us know. Anything else, Dad?
No, let's just end it. Thanks.
Right.
Places to be, people to see.
Thanks very much for listening.
Goodbye.